There's a shot where something is exploding, and I took a full shotgun blast of blood to the face. And
yes,
I was committed to keeping my eyes open for that moment. But, my body did not want to do that. And it looks cool, but that was like mind over matter. I was like, all right, body, we are not going to blink when this blood hits us in the face. Let's go.
This is Opening Kill. The following program contains mature content, explicit language, and detailed discussion of on-screen deaths. Spoilers are unavoidable. Listener discretion is advised.
And welcome back to the Opening Kill podcast. I'm Brian O'Connor.
And I am Michael Duran.
And tonight we are diving into the world of indie horror filmmaking with the team behind the horror film Devour.
Yes, joining us tonight are writer and director Scott fucking Hansen, along with cast members Katelynn E. Newberry and Gus Langley.
Thank you all so much for joining us tonight.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to be here.
We are so excited to talk horror, filmmaking, and everything that went into bringing this movie to life. So, Scott, for those who aren't familiar with the film, tell us about Devour.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's weird. It's 4 chicks in a metal band who are vampires, and they break down in a small town full of cannibals led by a warlock. It's a lot of fun. It's comedic. It's weird. It's gory, and just batshit crazy, I think. Yeah.
Where did this idea come from?
It was actually teased in our other movie called Bad Candy in 2021, which is a horror anthology movie that has like Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Zach Galligan. And in one of the murders in the bathroom, you see a poster for the band. So it was always like an inception idea, and then we just really wanted to make it happen. And it took 3 or 4 years to make that happen. So long time, but finally here. So
right on.
Yeah. So what kind of horror experience were you kind of chasing with Devour? Were you aiming at just maybe some tension, just a straight up splatter bloodfest, some atmosphere, or just kind of a mix of everything?
I think it's like a adventure horror a little bit. A lot of vampire movies are like straight up scary or like atmospheric, and this is more like you envelop in a whole town that's that kind of humanizes the vampires in a weird way, where it's like, I think you see a lot of vampire movies where they're glowing or like Twilight or whatever, and it's just like, this is like, these vampires can be killed. There's other cool creatures that are just badass more than they are, I guess. But yeah, it's very adventure horror, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so many fun moments in this film. When each of you first read the script, what immediately stood out for you?
When I first read the script, I was like, there's no way we're going to make this movie. I was like, this is crazy. This movie is crazy. And then things started happening, and we indeed made this movie.
Yeah,
Gus, what about you?
I read a lot of scripts, and they aren't all great. But when I read this one, I was like, all right, character-driven action movie where the characters are vampires. I'm down with that.
So I've heard that this film was made for around like $300,000, which makes some of these effects so much more impressive. With a budget like that, what were some of your biggest challenges?
I think making all the sets was just a crazy challenge. Like when you're having a werewolf explode out of this woman and basically kill all these people in a bar, you can't do that in a regular bar. You can't rent a bar, so we had to build a bar. We made a cave. We made like all kinds of sets, tunnels, like all kinds of hallways, an asylum. So that was tough. You want to make it look good, and you want to make it cost effective. I think one of the biggest things is like creating the environment for the actors to thrive in and to like just, feel like they're in the movie, because like I'll talk about Gus and Katelynn all day. When you put them in the environment, they just start ripping, like they go for it, like as actors, and that's fun to watch. You get them in this car and you freeze Katelynn in like 10-degree weather in her vampire outfit, and funny shit just starts happening. And sometimes you just got to record, honestly.
Right.
So,
Scott, were there moments where you had to get especially creative to pull something off? I mean, the effects in this movie, there are so many of them. I was blown away by how much you actually did in this film.
yeah, I mean, we had some amazing people like Wayne Anderson and Kevin and Kevin Moe and Oliver Kasiske. I always mess his name up, but yeah, no, J.R. Curtis did all of our set design with Steve Walenda. We just had a lot of dedicated people that knew when we were going into this movie, because we ran out of money like 4 or 5 times, and it was like totally, hey guys, we're out of money. I know we shot 7 days. We'll see you in a couple months, kind of thing. And then it was a couple months after that, and then a year goes by, and HBO comes calling, and they steal Gavin, the kid. They steal him and shave his head. So we're like, fuck. Now we gotta wait 6 months for his hair to grow back, and
right.
And then he got buff in that time, and we're trying to like hide his physique a little bit because he's hitting puberty. He's like 19 now or 20. So he's just lots of challenges with keeping everybody looking the same. But I mean, for the budget, like, yeah, we've ran out of money all the time. I literally would have to go do music videos to make money. And I would be like, hey, Katelynn, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to kill some cops? Like, like we need to kill some bad cops, and let's do it. And it would just be a small crew, 3 or 4 people, and here she is like killing people and smashing heads. And she had a great time, I think. But, it was just funny situations like that. Totally weekend warrior stuff to make this movie. Which is not easy. It's not easy, so.
There's great stories about Quentin Tarantino doing the same thing before he made it big. He was working at a video store down in Southern California, and he would run out of money and then go back to work, make more money, and they'd go back out. And that's kind of the heart of indie filmmaking. You get it done however you can.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. And, we had a few investors in the movie still, and that came in and helped out. But at the end of the day, it was just like, oh, we need to go work or have some studio rentals or music videos just to kind of make ends meet and feed people. I think that was the biggest expense, is feeding people and set design and monsters. I mean, most of the budget, I think half of the budget went to monsters, if I'm being honest.
Right.
I believe it, with the amount of monsters you have in this thing.
Yeah.
And they look good. It's really crazy impressive. So, Katelynn and Gus, so working on an indie production can, create a kind of atmosphere on set. What is it? How does that compare to maybe a little bit of a larger production?
I'm like, what can I talk about from a legal standpoint? I had a great time on this one because it took so long. Usually if you're shooting a movie, it's like 6 weeks max. If you're working on a TV show, you're working with those people for like 3 months, and you hope you get to come back for the next season, but you never know. But with this, we shot for over 18 months together, and I still hang out with some of these people now that we've been wrapped for a while. You don't normally get to make friends and then keep those friends. So that was a cool part of the experience for me.
I enjoyed how collaborative it was. Scott and I spent a lot of time collaborating. Gus and I spent a lot of time collaborating, and it felt like we were all, by the end of it, it was like a family. It felt like I was like working with my family because we spent so much time together, and it was long days, and it was all overnights. So you bond with people.
Oh yeah, when it hits 3 o'clock, 3 a.m.
We spent so much time with these characters. Like, it's like, Morgan right now would be like,
Yeah. It was fun. I
Nice.
mean, it was a lot of collaboration. You don't always get that when you work on the bigger sets as like a day player or something like that.
Right.
Sure.
And I will say too,
What?
like just the makeup part of having 4 female leads who have hair extensions, eyes,
So, yeah.
fangs. Heidi's hair took like 3 hours alone. And then you have the eye technician put in the contact lenses, or it was just like there's like 5 hours gone right there. So when we did 52 days, people were like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, I think half of that was stunts, and then the other half was just waiting on makeup. Because we're shooting 12-hour days, we would have shooting 2 pages a day if we were lucky. And but I think
Right.
that's great though. We got to take our time. We got to do a lot of takes with the actors. We got to build a lot of the sets, which was really fun. Just to have physical sets for people to react. But yeah, it took forever. It took a long time to make it, but it's finally done, which is weird to say. So
We are chatting with Katelynn E. Newberry, Gus Langley, and Scott fucking Hansen, the director of Devour. And one thing Michael and I really enjoyed when we watched this movie were the practical kill effects. Was there one sequence that was especially difficult or especially fun to film?
I would say the werewolf scene was a lot of fun and very hard to film that, just because he's on 3-foot stilts and he doesn't want to fall over. But we had a lot of blood sprays when we kill people on scenes. Like we had a truck tire guacamole gun is what we called it. So it was like it's to fill semi truck tires, and you put all the brains and stuff and pieces and
Oh
blood
my
and
God.
bananas and stuff that looks cool when it's thrown at you 100 miles an hour. And I would say the Minotaur scene and the werewolf scene were pretty crazy to film, especially the Minotaur. That was hard to film because when that thing walked out, like there was one whole take where I forgot to hit record, and we had 2 cameras. I was just like looking at this damn thing, like, holy shit, it's fucking real. It feels real. Like,
It
and I
looked
was like, oh fuck,
insane.
I did not hit record, and hey, let's do that again. Kind of thing.
Yep.
So,
Just want to see one more take here. Yeah.
one more.
How much blood do you think you actually used in this film?
Oh, easy, like 70,000 gallons. Because I only say that because the soup room is what everybody called it, was 90 foot by 90 foot wide. I don't know how big. It was huge. 90 foot by like 30 feet wide or something. It was a giant pond of blood. And we had 25 people on their hands and knees. And there's a scene with the warlock walking up, and it was slippery. It was nasty. There were skeletons hanging. But it was a lot of blood. And it was not, we had to make it in the parking lot of the studio because it was too big and we didn't want it to leak all over the place. So there's a lot of blood in that. So I don't know. It was a lot. And we had a bunch of head explosions. Some were like visual effects and stuff, but there was a lot of blood bombs. Probably like at least 40 or 50 blood bombs. Easy.
Wow.
Nice. That's amazing.
Right.
A lot of blood. You got to have blood in a horror movie. So,
Yes.
that just comes with the territory.
And this is a fun, so I say fun horror. It's adventure horror. We're not trying to scare people. We're just trying to have a good time and tell a fun story. And it's just a weird story. It's just a 4 chicks in a metal band. That's fun already, and then we're following Jerry, who's like 900 years old, and you kind of get his story in the intro. And that was a lot of fun to shoot too. People were like, how do we do that? And I was there's like a Civil War scene that opens the movie, and I went to like 4 reenactments, and I was just telling them, hey, we're shooting a vampire movie, can I borrow your guys for like an hour? And here I am with this guy Chris Roll, who's our crazy sound guy, and 2 other cameras, and we're filming people on horses and just grabbing shots to make it look big. And there's a couple shots in there where it's like 300-400 people, and they're really walking, and it's not AI or CG. It's like just real shots. So it was kind of cool to have that, and it's just trickery, you know, putting it all together. And then we shot close-up scenes of like our scenes to intercut with that. So that's the only way you're able to even make this movie financially. Is just a lot of tricks in the bag.
Sure.
So.
For sure. I have to say, like, that opening is incredible. Like, I was not expecting that. So when I'm just watching this unfold, I'm like, damn, this is fucking cinematic. This looks sick.
Oh yeah. It's my
So
audition
just want to give you a shout out. That was really fucking cool, honestly.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of history, and you know, it's Jerry complaining about humans, and it's kind of fucking hilarious, you know? And he's stuck in all these wars, and it's just kind of funny. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to shoot that. Totally fun.
Hell yeah. So this one's for Katelynn. Was there a scene where you were just looking around and thinking, oh God, this is getting fucking insane, like with filming?
I mean, I think that I was just I love vampire movies. Like I growing up, like Underworld and Blade, they were like some of my favorite movies. So I think I was just really excited about everything that was happening all the time. I didn't know what the werewolf or the minotaur looked like, and so when they walked out for the first time, that was a pretty surreal experience seeing those, because we had no idea what they looked like.
It looked so cool. So I was on social media like a couple years ago, and I remember seeing something with the minotaur and like the werewolf. First, I don't remember what it was for, but I remember like, I'm gonna clock that because that looks fucking cool, and I'll revisit whenever it comes out. And so then when I stumbled upon you guys on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, it's that movie. And so like, yeah, I had to reach out. So like, you've had my interest for quite a while now.
It might have been the Indiegogo. We did because we kept running out of money, and we were like, hey, if you want to pay to be killed, come out and pay us and we'll kill you. And it actually kind of worked. So I had to show off some of the monsters to attract people, but that helped us get a lot of kills, you know, and help fund the movie a little bit. So it was cool.
Nice.
Right. So Gus, horror films can ask actors to commit fully to some pretty wild stuff, some crazy situations. What was the most physically or emotionally challenging thing about your role in this film? Because there was a lot going on here.
You know, that's a great question. I would have to say there's a shot where something is exploding and I took a full shotgun blast of blood to the face. And
yes,
I was committed to keeping my eyes open for that moment, but my body did not want to do that, you know? So we got the shot and it looks cool, but that was like mind over matter. Like, I was like, all right, body, we are not going to blink when this blood hits us in the face. Let's go.
Yeah, that I can't imagine. Like, my eyes are like, I close them for every little thing. So like, the fact that you're able to keep them over for a blood splatter to the face, that's saying something.
Yeah,
you know, I'm done too, right? That was one take, or we did two?
We did it once, and they like hit me in the mouth.
Oh yeah.
So I got like a big mouthful of question mark.
We wiped you off, and I was like, "Can we double load it?" And the second one was like twice the amount, but it was perfect. It looked great.
Yeah,
so
totally worth it.
Scott, were practical effects important to you from the beginning?
Oh yeah, I mean, I come from like a special effects background. I grew up working at a haunted house. That was like my first job actually before I went to art school. So I'm like all into the Halloween scene. If you see my house in Halloween, I'm that weird guy in the corner, like killing the electrical for the entire neighborhood. Like that's just me, you know. I have like I just love that kind of vibe, and that's my world. So it's like these are what we're trying to do is tell these cool stories that are kind of affiliated with Halloween. And so yeah, I mean, we got Wayne Anderson, who's like he won Face Off.
Nice.
And that's a cool thing because he's kind of like, I thought he was out of our reach, to be honest. Like, you know, he's like up there with like Steve Wang and like all these other people, Rick Baker, and he was a cold call email, and he responded, and it was like, holy shit, this guy's down to work on an indie. I just hit him. I know he just worked on Jurassic World and had all this crazy budget, but he actually responded, and he was like, we were like, hey, we're working on this Bad Candy movie. Can we hire you to make this Bat Monster? And he literally was like, yeah, I'm in New Zealand right now at Weta Effects, which made Lord of the Rings and all that.
Yeah.
And he was working on Kate Winslet's avatar, her maquette and her face to be scanned and all that. So
Wow.
he was just like, yeah, I'll be finishing up with Jim here in a week, and I can come out to Atlanta, buy me a flight. And so I bought his fucking flight. And I was like, did you just say Jim? Like, are you in a first name basis with James Cameron? Like,
Jim.
Jesus, that's fucking amazing. Like, he just called him Jim. But yeah, he flew out, and he came and did our shoot, and now we're buddies, and it's just kind of weird to, I look at him and I'm like, he's like baby Rick Baker or Stan Winston. And so having him making all these monsters really propels the movie, and it was just awesome to see him work. I'm just a fan of him, and seeing him do his thing and help the movie come together is pretty awesome. It's just
Right.
it's something really nice to see, like that's when it comes back to having a great team around you and just really good people and actors and everybody. It's a team effort to make this thing, and I'm like a professional chaos babysitter to glue it all together, like that's really my job is babysitting. So, but yeah.
What was the overall vibe on the set? Like, was it just serious horror mode all the time, or lots of joking in between takes and setups?
I mean, Gus is a comedian, so is Katelynn. That's how I met Katelynn, was comedy stuff, skits she was doing.
I
And
was dressed
so
like
yeah,
an old Scott Studio.
yeah. What were you doing? I forget what you
I
were
was
doing.
dressed like an old man. And I
Old
was
man,
making
yeah,
old videos
yeah.
and
I was like,
tagging in them.
who the hell is that? And she was cracking me up, and I just got her info, and then we did auditions like maybe a year and a half later, and she just killed the audition, and we're like, I remember I was actually just looking at her first audition the other day because I have another BTS dropping in the next few days, and her first audition. She has exactly what was worn in the movie. That's how she already came ready to go. Like,
Nice.
we didn't change much with her. She was just already a vampire. Just gave her some fake teeth, But
Awesome. So, for everybody, was there a moment during filming that completely went off the rails, but in a way that ended up turning out great?
there's a lot of moments
Whoa, there's a lot of moments.
off the rails. Let me see.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think we had so much fun that it leaked into the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
slightly more whimsical than it might have been had we not been having fun behind the scenes.
There's a bunch of driving shots where the van is not running and we're pushing it, which is kind of fun because we
Van
had
did
this
die.
amazing 80s van and it was beautiful, but it would never run. And so like there's a lot of driving shots in the movie where you're looking at it and it's going a little slow, or maybe it ran for a bit and cut off and now it's coasting. But yeah, there's all kinds of funny moments like that. There's a lot of moments. There's a lot of we rented this bathroom to do this scene with a promoter that was pretty funny, and the shitty promoter that screws the band over in the movie is getting a blowjob. And the funny thing about this set is one of the guys that worked there was like, I was like, hey, we're gonna tattoo up this beautiful white bathroom you have. Is that okay? And do we have to pay extra for that? And the guy was like, yeah, sure. Let me check with the boss. And like, he basically checked with him and he never heard back. And he's like, yeah, just go ahead and do it. And he told us to do it. We went all out and drew dicks all over the fucking walls, giant art and weird, funny things. And it was a funny scene where this guy's getting a blowjob and the girl throws up on him, and Gus and Heidi walk in and they're trying to collect their money. And right after one of those takes, the owner of the building walks in. He's like, "What the fuck?" And he just sees the walls all covered. We had to repaint all those walls, but it was just kind of funny, behind the scenes funny shit that you deal with when you're making a movie and somebody tells you something. But
Right.
yeah, no, it was a blast. This movie is a lot of fun. Um, there's just so many moments in this. It was a 50-day shoot. That's pretty. It's just unheard of for an indie film.
Yeah.
Usually, indie films are like 10 to 15 days if you're lucky.
Right.
So
Right.
just a lot of shooting, a lot of pickups and. Luckily, I was editing, so it's like if I'm missing something, I'm like, "Oh, hey, we can make this a little better." So I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, Gus?" Or "What's up, Katelynn?" There's a few days where I called him in and we didn't even shoot anything, because we were just hanging out having a good time. So it was definitely a blast. So
Did either Katelynn or Gus surprise you with anything in their performances in this film?
yeah, no, I mean they both. I actually met Gus. He was one of our last auditions, actually, out of like 8,000 people. Like I didn't know who Gus was, and now we're buddies and we hang out and stuff. And it was just crazy because Gus was like, we had the Dylan played by Gavin Wild, and we were struggling to find the right person to be Jerry in the movie. We had a couple other people in mind, and and this is why I'll speak to the power of auditions, because we auditioned everybody multiple times with multiple actors, crisscrossing people. And Gus did this thing where he does this movie voice, and it's in the movie throughout the whole movie, and it's like the best movie voice ever. And people walk up to him expecting him to sound like that movie voice, and then he just talks regular, and it's like, oh, that was just acting, like, you know. So I always thought that was hilarious because people were like asking him, like, he just has a great movie voice,
Yeah, we'd be on set with people for like 2 weeks before they'd catch me talking like a regular person.
Oh, wow.
So Katelynn and Gus, vice versa, was there something Scott brought as a director that made the process easier and more collaborative?
I think the fact that Scott was so collaborative made it easy because I feel like, there's obviously a script, but then he let us play with our characters so much. He gave us so much freedom, which is a lot of fun as an actor. We got to improv quite a bit, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Our opinions mattered, which was cool.
I would echo that.
Right.
I mean, 18 months into playing a character, I think I know the character pretty well. So it was like cool for someone to care what I thought.
Yeah. It was cool Scott cared about what we cared about, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That's really
and
cool.
you got the fog rolling, and you got the van, and it's 10 degrees outside, and the sound guy is hiding in his mink coat and one of the other vans, and you just bonding with these people, and it's hilarious. And like that's what I was saying. Like, it was just like they were knocking it out of the park. You know what I mean? Like everybody was doing a great job because it was just like so much time with the characters, and it was just like. It was like the collaboration was crazy. Like they would spitball. We would shoot what was written, but then we would have time to go, oh shit, let's try this. Or, Katelynn be like, can I kill this person this way? Or can I kill somebody else? And I'd be like, let's figure that out, And no, it was just fun.
Scott, I will never forget. So I knew the script said that the cop car, I guess this is a spoiler, there's a car that blows up. And I was just like, oh, how are you gonna do the effects on that? And you were like, we're gonna blow the car up. It's like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like 10 pounds of tannerite on a scope. Yeah. It was fun.
Hell yeah.
And it looks good.
Oh, my God.
When the car goes
does
off the
look good.
cliff, they're like,
Yeah.
it's, car going off a cliff. Like, it's crazy looking. So,
Yeah. It's
lot
always
of
better when you
pieces.
can do those things in camera, especially
Yeah.
with something like that. So yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
For sure. So, Katelynn, we actually interviewed a friend of yours just a few weeks ago, Roger Connors, who directed Meat, which you were also a part of. And it was such a fun conversation. Having now worked with, multiple indie horror directors, what's something you've learned about the genre or the filmmaking process through experiences like these?
I think you never know what to expect when you show up to set. I think you can read it one way, and then you show up to set, and it's never gonna be what you expect. That it was that way with Meat, it was definitely that, and Roger had such a vision for how everything was going to look. Like, he costumed the entire film. He had it was very, very hyper specific. Um, but it was the same way with both, Devour and Meat. I would read the script and show up, and I don't think I had any idea what was going to happen.
So horror fans are incredibly passionate. I know I certainly am. Michael is.
Yep.
What do you think makes horror audiences different from other genres? And this is for anybody to jump in on.
I think they're a lot more diehard. They're a lot more passionate. The whole
Yeah.
community is a lot more passionate.
It's a big community-based thing, I think. Horror is like, especially the last 10, 15 years, like all the cons, like from Comic-Con, they all spread out. Now there's so many horror cons and sci-fi cons, but it's just really cool. Like, everybody's so supportive. And then you see like small indie films like Terrifier go to all the
Yeah.
horror cons. You know, like Terrifier was nothing on the first movie, and they went to all the horror cons, and now you got David Thornton. He's at all the
Yeah.
horror cons now. You know, he's
Yeah.
huge, and that's just a testament of physically going to all these horror cons. I think, you know, and the movie doing well, and just the power of the fandom. Like, people they want stuff. They want cool shit to watch, you know, like
Mhm.
Freddy and Jason have been locked up for like 15 years in legal battles. And here you got Art the Clown coming up, you know, and it's just like people want stuff to watch and to experience, you know, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great community. I think it's a great community. So,
Yeah. Indie horror is crazy because, like, I mean, Art, like you said, he was indie and now he's like a part of like Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. Like, that's crazy. And you see him in like
Yeah.
Spirit Halloween stores. Like, it's just cool that
Yeah.
it's able to go from the humble beginnings to something that just kind of is now just part of the culture. Speaking of the indie culture, why does it kind of feel like some of the most creative stuff is happening outside of the studio system, and it's more like the indie stuff kind of propping horror up right now?
I just think that's the way it's going. Like, you know, you have like Eli Roth with the horror section. He's leaving the studio system to have more control. I just think a lot of you know, I just went to see Mortal Kombat yesterday. You know, I had a lot of fun seeing that movie, but it's like it's a sequel. You know, it's there's so many sequels. This whole entire year is all sequels, so it's like this whole indie movement is like people are making their original stuff, but the studio system is so fixed on, you know, Marvel and sequels and Dune 1, 2, and 3 and, you know, whatever. I just think the indie, like, it's very important to do original stories. You know, people want original stuff. And that is not being funded, unfortunately. So it has to come from Indiegogo or, you know, or Kickstarter or like these indie films coming up, you know. And I remember even donating to Mike Flanagan's first movie, you know, on Kickstarter. Like,
Yeah.
and now look at Mike Flanagan, he's the GOAT, you know, like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Mhm.
And that was the power, even the Babadook, you know, like that movie was like an Indiegogo movie, you know, and that blew her Jennifer Kent, you know, and that it's just like the crowdfunding stuff kind of helps, you know, here and there, and then you even have Troublemaker, what's his name, Rodriguez. He's doing his own stuff, kind of like Eli, you know, they're raising private equity and inviting investors to make stuff that's outside of the studio system. Because I just think, you know, the studio system is either going through a restructure right now. I mean, we're in Atlanta, you know, and a lot of the work is unfortunately went overseas now. People just
Right.
going to different, you know, cheaper opportunities, but it is opening up some indie avenues as well. And I think indie is always going to be there, you know. And then look at Iron Lung. Iron Lung fucking
Yeah.
blew the cap off. Like, he made
Yeah.
50 million on 3,000 theaters, and he, I just read the other day, he went to freaking YouTube, talked to the president, and was like, "Why can I sell my movie on YouTube as an aggregator?" And YouTube was like, oh, hey, why don't we figure this out? And so YouTube's they're talking right now, and if YouTube opens them floodgates, it'll be crazy. Like if you can
That'll be
sell
huge.
your movie on YouTube, just like Tubi and all these other places, and you don't need a distributor, that's insane. Like that's gonna blow. That's gonna create a whole entire market. And the back rooms, Kane, that new director, youngest director of all time, to do an A24 film is from a YouTube. So
Yeah.
I love the power of YouTubers coming up and creating their own content. I just think that's where everything's going. You're still gonna have the big movies. Marvel's never going away.
Right.
But we need creativity. We need original stories.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, with all three of you, what horror films or filmmakers inspired you growing up?
I have so many. I'll say, Devour is heavily inspired by Big Trouble in Little China and From Dusk Till Dawn. It's totally a baby of those two movies, for sure. Because Big Trouble in Little China is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I'm a massive Kurt Russell fan, huge Carpenter fan. I love all the Carpenter movies, obviously. Massive James Cameron fan, or Jim, as Wayne would say.
Right.
Old Jim.
Just Jim.
Just Jim. But no, I love horror movies, and I actually love sci-fi. I love action. I love anything that's telling a crazy story usually. But yeah, I would say definitely Big Trouble in Little China is a massive favorite. I just love not to take, like, Devour doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, we're not trying to be the fucking Conjuring. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
They're fucking vampires. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we're having a good time. There's a fucking Minotaur. Why is there a Minotaur? Who fucking cares? Because there is one.
Why not?
Why not? I've never seen a Minotaur in a horror movie, except for Xena Warrior Princess, and people were like, "Wow, that was pretty cool." Actually, there's a Minotaur. I was like, "Yes, hell yeah, why not? Let's do it."
Right.
But yeah, no, I love some of those movies a lot.
What about you, Gus?
So I got a quick story. So my dad was a prop master when I was a little kid. He made movies. So when I was in, like, I think first grade for show and tell, I took one of the machetes from a Jason movie to school to show the other kids. And apparently that is not allowed. So that was like an
I think that's
exciting
frowned upon,
intro
yeah.
into the world of horror movies.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Scott, you mentioned Mortal Kombat.
Hold on. Yeah, I love Mortal Kombat.
Same.
So this is an autograph from the actor who
Ooh.
plays Johnny Cage in the original movie, Lyndon Ashby.
Nice.
He and my dad had
God.
just done a movie together, and my dad mentioned my son wants to be an actor, and he really likes Mortal Kombat. So he wrote, "Hey, Gus, good luck, best wishes, Lyndon Ashby." And like 6 months ago, I posted that and was like, "Hey, blah, 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 blah." And he was like, "Hell yeah, man. Congratulations. Good for you." So,
Dude. That is so cool.
Anything for you, Katelynn?
I actually started in music. I didn't have any ambition of being an actor when I was growing up. But my favorite movies were like the Rocky Horror Picture Show and, Blade and Underworld. But I got started in this industry as a vocalist, actually. I was working with a metal band in Ohio, and then one of them was working on a movie and was like, "You should try acting." And then I did, and nobody's discovered that I'm not a real actor yet. So
Well, you've definitely accomplished quite a bit in your acting career since. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Scott, I've got to mention Bad Candy because I just saw this a couple of years ago, and I told Michael about it. And it has honestly become one of my favorite Halloween season movies to throw on every October. The movie has such a specific atmosphere and vibe to it. Plus, you've got Corey Taylor from Slipknot in this thing.
Oh yeah.
Do you find oh man, he was great in this. And plus, Michael and I come from radio, so seeing the DJ, I mean, that was like, yeah, we can do that. Do you find yourself especially drawn to seasonal horror and that kind of nostalgic Halloween energy as a filmmaker?
Oh yeah, I mean that's all I'm trying to do is Halloween movies. I think we have 3 other Halloween movies written right now, past these 2, because Bad Candy connects to Devour, and then we have 3 other after that. Yeah, no, I feel like there's not enough Halloween movies.
Agreed.
There's a
Yeah.
massive shortage. Why do I have 11 Fast and Furious movies and 1 fucking Trick or Treat? Doesn't make any goddamn sense to me.
Thank you.
I don't understand.
I've been saying that.
I don't get that. And they're making a Fast and Furious TV show, and I'm like, who is doing this? Go away. But hey, I don't want to hate on that. I'm just saying, like I love Halloween. I grew up in the '80s, so I'm just a Halloween nerd.
Right.
But there's just not enough Halloween stories, and it's just such a vibe, such an atmosphere. And Bad Candy was like just a dream to make that movie. And it's a tiny movie. It's $100,000 movie, where Trick or Treat had like 15 million. So it's a discount indie all the way, but I pulled out all the things I could do, and I got Corey Taylor. He actually replaced Sid Haig. I had Sid Haig booked before Corey Taylor, and he unfortunately passed away like 6 months before we were supposed to film. Rest in peace, Sid Haig. He's like one of the goats,
Yeah, he's a legend.
I always imagined what it would have been like with him, and Zach Galligan. But Corey, he came in, and he did a great job, and he was awesome. And well, yeah, one of the movies on deck right now continues Bad Candy, and we're in talks with Corey to come back. And Keith David actually would be the new DJ. Yeah,
yeah.
So,
wow,
nice.
Yeah, I'm working on that one right now, trying to get everything in line because it intersects. It's like New Salem, Crimson City. If you watch Devour, some of these vampires, they survive. There's a few ones that survive, and this third movie, you're going to see some of the original Bad Candy actors crisscross in this third movie as well. So,
boy, that is amazing. That is good news.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm excited for that now. So this question's for everyone. You can jump in. I feel like with indie horror, just indie filmmaking, there's a lot of uncertainty. It's like, is funding going to come through? Is this actually are we going to finish making this? So was there a specific moment during filming where you realized, okay, like this movie is actually working. Like we are rolling right now.
Yeah. No, I think when we started getting to the end, we started seeing a lot of the edited scenes together, and we put out like an early trailer, and people were like, "What the hell is this movie?" And they're like, and then you show them a screener, and they think you got like $5-10 million, and I'm like, I wish if I had $5 million, you'd see discount Avatar, with the way we make movies, just. Because I come from the music video, I've done 1,000 music videos. I do metal bands, like that's my real job is music videos, and so when you're doing a music video, you have to be really inventive and cheap, and whatever you got to do to get the shot, and it kind of helps when you're editing and you shoot for the edit. You're not wasting time. I'm not shooting 85 takes of one scene like Fincher. You know what I mean? If you get a really good actor, you don't need more than like 3 or 4 takes, if I'm being honest. When you're hitting that 10 to 20 takes, something's wrong. So I don't know. But when we started seeing those first couple of trailers, like we knew we had something special, and then we have a theater release for this. So that's crazy, to have our first theater release, because when Bad Candy came out, it was mid-pandemic. So we didn't get a theater release. Everybody was scared to go to the movies, so we had 35 drive-ins across the country, which is still weird to think about.
Wow. So when is the release date?
They're looking at August right now. So yeah, they're working on it right now. And we actually had somebody try to buy the movie literally 2 days ago from Epic, our distributor, which was pretty funny, and never dealt with that before because it was already sold, So
Right.
yeah, I can't say who tried to buy it, but it's pretty funny who's trying to buy the movie now. Fucking hilarious. I hope it works out actually because their connections are crazy, but I'm not privy to information just yet, so I'm waiting to hear. I don't know if that's going to delay things, but yeah, a heavy hitting producer who may have produced, maybe Donnie Darko, Memento, and Passion of the Christ. That's all I'll say. This
Okay.
guy's trying to buy the movie right now. So
Okay.
buy it from
Okay.
it's already sold, and he's trying to buy it from that. And so I'm so okay, cool. Why not? Yeah,
Fuck it.
I don't
why
know what-
not?
yeah, give us more theaters. We need a couple thousand theaters. That costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I don't know. Hopefully it works out for the best. So
Well, before we wrap up here, we have a segment we like to keep for our guest directors who come on the show with us. So we've talked about the movie, the filmmaking, and the horror, but none of that tells us, Scott, how you'd actually survive one. It is time for a segment we like to call Killer Instincts.
Yes, and it's just quick answers, no overthinking. Let's just see your horror instincts and if they're going to keep you alive or not.
all right.
All right. Favorite horror movie?
The Thing.
Horror villain you'd never want to actually meet.
Frank from Hellraiser. That would creep me out. That guy fucks with me.
Yeah.
Favorite final girl?
Oh, Nev Campbell. Yeah.
That
like
is a
that.
proper answer.
I like that. I love
Favorite practical effect in horror?
the dog monster from The Thing. That's still the freakiest shit I've ever seen. And knowing that effect put that guy in the hospital after a year of effects just because of how intricate it was. That was crazy to learn that.
One horror trope you absolutely love?
Smoking. Any actor smoking a lot of weed in a movie.
One horror trope you would retire forever.
Dang, horror retire forever. Probably like the summer camp horror movies. Like that kind of vibe. Like I love slashers, but maybe just seen too many of them. I don't know. I just need to. Yeah,
Fair.
I don't know. Not my vibe.
Dream horror role?
Dream horror role. Leatherface. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Leatherface. That would have been fun.
All right. And finally, slasher survival odds. Are you making it out of Devour alive?
No, I get killed early on, actually. In the movie, I'm a victim of bad driving. So somebody crushes me.
Well, Scott, Katelynn, Gus, seriously, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. This was just a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for having us. This is so cool. Yeah, this is awesome.
Congratulations on the film. It's always exciting seeing indie horror filmmakers go all in on a project like this, and I think you've got something really, really special.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Before we go, where can everybody, first of all, follow Devour and keep up with what you all are doing next?
Yeah, a Devour Movie on Instagram. We have Facebook Devour Movie, and then I usually post and tag these two all the time and stuff. On it, they both have Instagrams as well. So, but yeah, no, totally.
Well, again, Scott B. Hansen, Katylnn E. Newberry, and Gus Langley, thank you so much for being on Opening Kill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
And that will wrap it up for this episode of Opening Kill. Make sure to follow us on our socials. You'll find us on Instagram as well as Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the video version of the podcast. You can also reach out through email to openingkillpod@gmail.com. For Michael Duran, I'm Brian O'Connor. We will see you next Thursday with a brand new episode of Opening Kill.
Opening Kill is produced by Mystic Cloud Productions and hosted by Brian O'Connor and Michael Duran. New episodes drop every Thursday wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And don't forget, You can watch the video versions on YouTube. See you next time, if you survive the opening kill.